Hello students, today our topic is kinetic energy. As we know, fast flowing water can turn the blades of water. A water mill. A swinging bat can hit a cricket ball over the boundary. The blowing air can rotate the blades of a windmill, etc. In all these cases, it is the motion of bodies which is responsible for doing work. Therefore, the motion is responsible for the energy possessed by them. A moving vehicle, a running horse, a moving bicycle, flowing water, blowing wind, etc. possesses energy. Thus, the objects acquire kinetic energy due to motion. So, we can say the energy possessed by a body by virtue of its motion is called kinetic energy. Now, the mathematical expression for kinetic energy. Consider a body M is at rest as shown in figure, having mass small m. Let a force F be applied to it, causing a constant acceleration in this direction, due to which acceleration produced is small a. The body attains a final velocity v through a displacement s after some time t. Let after some time t, the body is at this position and displacement is s. Let at this point its velocity is small v. So kinetic energy is measured in terms of work done on the body. So we can write here kinetic energy equal to work done by the force. As we know, work is defined as scalar product of force and displacement. So here we can write work done by the force will be F vector dot S vector. And since F and S are in the same direction, so here theta equals to 0 degree. So as we know, cos theta equals to cos 0 equals to 1. So when we write this equation, F as cos theta, theta means 0 degree, we get here F into S. Since mass of object is m and acceleration produced in body is small a, so here we can write F equals to m into a into S, which is kinetic energy. Equation first. Now, as we know from the equation of motion, from the third equation of motion, we know v square equals to u square plus 2as, where v is the final velocity after some time t, u is the initial velocity, a is acceleration produced and s is displacement. Here, since we know body is initially at rest, so here u will be 0. So we can write this equation as v square equals to 2as, and here as equals to, we get v square by 2. Now put the value of as from equation 2 into equation 1, we get kinetic energy of object will be m into as is v square by 2. So we get here kinetic energy is half mv square. So this is the mathematical expression for kinetic energy. Now here some important points to note about kinetic energy. First point is, since we know m and v square, m is mass and v is velocity, so since we know m and v square are always positive, so we can say kinetic energy is always positive. So kinetic energy does not depend on motion of body. Now next point is kinetic energy depends on frame of reference. frame of reference. Example: kinetic energy of a person of mass m sitting in a train moving with speed v is 0 in the frame of train, but half mv square in the frame of earth. So we can say by this example, kinetic energy of system depends on frame of reference. Now third point is, as we know, kinetic energy is given by half mv square by multiplying mass m in numerator and denominator. So we can write this equation as mv whole square upon m, and as we know, momentum p is defined as mass into velocity. So we can write this in this equation. Kinetic energy will be half p square, p is momentum, upon m. So we get the relation between kinetic energy and momentum of any body. Now, as it is clear from this equation, kinetic energy is inversely proportional to mass m. So as we plot the graph between kinetic energy and mass, we get like this. Here momentum is constant. Now second, it is also clear from this equation that momentum p is directly proportional to root m. So when we plot a graph between momentum and mass at constant kinetic energy, we get this graph as where kinetic energy is constant. Now third, we also know here momentum is proportional to root k. So as we plot graph between momentum and kinetic energy, we get this like this at constant mass. So these are 3 points about kinetic energy. Now the next topic is work energy theorem. Work done by all the forces means conservative or non-conservative, external or internal forces acting on a particle or an object is equal to the change in kinetic energy of it. Now we can prove this theorem. Let a body of mass m is moving with velocity, initial velocity u. A force F is applied in direction of motion. So let after some time t, its velocity become v and displacement of body is at b point from A to B, the displacement of body is s. So in this case, as we know, work done will be F into S. Since here force and displacement are in the same direction, so theta will be 0, and as we know cos theta equals to 1, so we get W equals to F into S. As we know, let the mass of body is small m, so we can write here, if the acceleration produced in body of mass m due to force F is A, then we can write force equals to m into A into S. So we get work done equals to MAS. Now from the third equation of motion, since we know final velocity v square equals to u square plus 2as, when we find the value of as from this equation, we get AS equals to V square minus U square upon 2. By putting this value of AS from equation 2 to equation 1, we get W equals to M into V square minus U square upon 2. By solving this, we get half MV square minus half MU square, which is equal to W. Work here, initial kinetic energy is half MU square and final kinetic energy is half MV square. So we can write work done will be final kinetic energy minus initial kinetic energy, or we can also write here change in kinetic energy. So this is the work energy theorem, which says difference in kinetic energy of a moving body in two states is equal to the work done. It is work energy theorem. Now next is transformation of energy. Energy can be generated in different forms and can be transformed or converted from one form to another. The change of one form of energy into another form is called transformation of energy. For example, when electric current is passed through a filament of a bulb, the electric energy is first converted into heat. As the filament becomes red hot, then it emits light. So we can transform various forms of energy from one form to another. For example, the potential energy can be changed in the kinetic energy. For example, water let out through gates of a dam. Next, kinetic energy can also be changed in potential energy. For example, water flowing in the river stored in a dam. Electric energy can change in the heat energy. For example, bulb. Heat energy can also be changed in mechanical energy. For example, steam engine. Or other examples are also here. Electric energy can be changed in the chemical energy by electrolysis process or storage batteries. Light energy can be converted into electric energy by solar cells. So there are so many examples for transformation of energy from one form to another form. Now next point is interconversion of energy. First, here we discuss for freely falling body. Let any body is placed at a height h from the ground at rest, having mass small m. Now let it start falling. So initial velocity of this body will be 0. Let at the point B on the ground its velocity become v. Now when we calculate the total mechanical energy at highest point, means at point A, total mechanical energy will be potential energy plus kinetic energy. As here initial velocity of object is 0, so kinetic energy will be 0 and potential energy of object at the highest point at a distance h from ground will be mgh, which is total mechanical energy at highest point A. Let this equation 1. Now we can calculate the total mechanical energy at lowest point B. Here mechanical energy is again the sum of potential energy plus kinetic energy. Since here height h becomes 0, so potential energy of body will be 0, and since at point B the velocity of object is v, so we can say kinetic energy of object at point B is given by half mv square. As we know from the third equation of motion, v square equals to u square plus 2gh. Since here initial velocity u is 0, so we can write this equation as v square equals to 2gh. By putting the value of v square from this equation into the expression of kinetic energy, we get kinetic energy is half m into 2gh. So we get here kinetic energy will be mgh. So we can write total mechanical energy at lowest point B will be mgh, which is equation 2. From equation 1 and equation 2, we can conclude that all the potential energy at highest point is converted into kinetic energy at lowest point, and this conversion can also be explained through another example. For example, for upward projected body, let a body is placed on ground having mass small m, and it is projected at a height h from the ground with initial velocity u. So at highest point, let B, its velocity become 0. Let this point is A. Now as we calculate the total mechanical energy at point A, it is equal to the sum of kinetic energy at point A and potential energy at point A. Since at A the vertical distance h is 0, so we can say here the potential energy will be 0 and kinetic energy will be given by half mu square. Since initial velocity of particle is u, so we can say the total mechanical energy of the system at point A will be half mu square. Let this is equation 1. Now total mechanical energy at point B will be again the sum of kinetic energy at point B and potential energy at point B. Since at the highest point, which is point B, the velocity of particle becomes 0, so we can say here kinetic energy of body is also 0 and potential energy is given by mgh. Since here vertical distance is small h, and from the third equation of motion, as we know, v square equals to u square plus 2gh. Since here final velocity is 0 and for upward motion here we use the sign of g as negative, so we can write in this equation 0 equals to u square minus 2gh. By solving this we get U square equals to 2GH and GH equals to U square by 2. When we put the value of GH from this equation into expression of potential energy, we get potential energy is mu square by 2. Equation number 2. So total mechanical energy at point B will be half mu square, and from equation 1 and equation 2 we can conclude this that the total kinetic energy at point A is totally converted into potential energy at point B. Now the next topic is law of conservation of energy. According to the law of conservation of energy, energy can be transformed from one form to another form, but the total amount of all the energies remains the same. In other words, the energy can neither be created nor destroyed, but can be transformed from one form to another form. If kinetic energy increased by the amount delta K and potential energy decreases by the same amount delta U, then we can write here delta K equals to minus delta U. Since delta K is difference of final kinetic energy and initial kinetic energy, and delta U is difference of final potential energy and initial potential energy. So by solving this equation, Kf minus Ki equals to Ui minus Uf. So we get the final expression is Ki plus Ui equals to Kf plus Uf. So we can say from this equation total initial mechanical energy is equal to the total final mechanical energy. This is the law of conservation of energy. Now this law of conservation of energy can be explained by the example. For example, first is for freely falling body. Let any body M which is placed at rest having mass M at a vertical height h from the ground let it is any point A at ground, and here vertical displacement is small h. Now let at any point B which is at the vertical height x from point C, let at point B its velocity become v, and at point A its velocity become v naught. So we can calculate the total mechanical energy at points C, B and A. First, when we calculate the total mechanical energy at point C, total mechanical energy is given by sum of kinetic energy plus potential energy. At highest point, since its initial velocity is 0, so kinetic energy will also be 0 and potential energy will be mgh. So we get total mechanical energy at point C is mgh. This is equation first. Now at point B, again we can write mechanical energy is sum of kinetic energy and potential energy. Here we can write kinetic energy is half mv square, since at point B the velocity of particle become v, and potential energy we can write as mgx. Now, as we know from third equation of motion, we can write v square equals to u square plus 2gh. Here, since initial velocity u is 0 and vertical height h is small x, so we can write here v square equals to 2gx. Since here, as shown in figure, the remaining distance AB will be h minus x. So we can write the potential energy of system at point B is mg into h minus x. Now, as we know from third equation of motion, v square equals to u square plus 2gh. As we know here, initial velocity u equals to 0 and vertical distance h is x. So we can put these values in this equation. We get v square equals to 0 plus 2gx. For now, when we put the value of v square from this equation into expression of kinetic energy, we can get kinetic energy is as half m into 2gx equal to mgx. So total mechanical energy at point B will be mgx plus mg h minus x. By solving this, we get mechanical energy is mgh, which is equal to the mechanical energy at point A or at point C. This is equation 2. Now, when we calculate the mechanical energy at point A, again it is given by the sum of kinetic energy and potential energy. Since kinetic energy will be half mv dash square, as we know the velocity of body at point A is v dash and potential energy becomes 0 because here vertical distance from ground is 0. So we can say total mechanical energy is given by half mv dash square. As we know from third equation of motion, v square equals to u square plus 2gh. Since here final velocity is v dash, initial velocity is 0, so we can write here v dash square equals to 2gh. By putting this value in expression of mechanical energy, we get mechanical energy equals to half m into 2gh, which is equal to the mgh. So it is clear from this derivation the mechanical energy of the system at point A, B and C are same. So here the law of conservation of energy are proved. Now thanks students.